Hello and welcome to this short presentation on studying Latin at Trinity College, Dublin. My name is Professor Monica Gale and I'm Professor in Classics, specialising in Roman literature and culture. Here at Trinity we offer classical languages as part of a single undergraduate honour programme called Classics, Ancient History and Archaeology, or alternatively in combination with a range of options within the area of arts, humanities and social sciences. In this presentation, I'll be focusing on three questions. Firstly, what are classical languages? Secondly, why study classical languages, and specifically Latin? And finally, what would studying this subject in the Classics department at Trinity involve? Well, classical languages is an umbrella term for ancient Greek and Latin, the languages used by the poets, philosophers, historians and politicians of classical Greece and Rome, but also by the ordinary people, whose graffiti and tombstones, letters and school exercises can tell us so much about the lives and thought of these two remote yet familiar societies. Students who opt to study classical languages as part of the Trinity Joint Honours programme choose between Latin and Ancient Greek at the beginning of the degree. Within Classics, Ancient History and Archaeology, it's possible to study either language separately or both together. At Trinity, you can begin either language from scratch or pick up your previous studies at a more advanced level. All our students should reach a level of fluency by the beginning of the second year, at which they're able to read ancient poetry and prose unadapted. Studying Latin at Trinity will give you proficiency in reading original Latin texts, while also broadening your perspective on how Latin was used as a literary language and as a means of everyday communication. The study of the Latin language is valuable for its own sake, but also offers a window onto the history and culture of the Roman people, as well as their rich and varied literature. As part of your degree programme, you'll have the opportunity to choose from a range of options involving the study of Roman history, of ancient visual and material culture, as well as the poetry and prose of Roman authors such as Catullus, Virgil, Tacitus and Seneca. So, why study Latin? We can answer this question in several different ways. Roman culture has been hugely influential in the formation of modern Europe, and this is no less true of the language than of other parts of our ancient heritage. Latin is the ancestor of most modern European languages, including French, Italian and Spanish, and offers a firm foundation for learning modern languages, as well as a rigorous grounding in systematic grammar that will help with language study in general. And Latin vocabulary will greatly enrich your English too. So, if you've enjoyed studying any language in the past, Latin may be the subject for you. But Latin also gives us direct access to the many surviving writings of Roman authors, from the riotous comedies of Plautus to the poignant love poetry of Catullus, from the racy fiction of Petronius and Apuleius to the impassioned speeches of Cicero, from the grandeur of Virgilian epic to the biting satire of Juvenal and Persius. Reading these works in the original Latin can greatly enrich the experience and open a new dimension of each work to the reader. Finally, the Latin language can serve as a doorway to Roman culture and thought, and offer a fascinating way into a world both familiar and crucially different from our own. A world of love and hatred, ambition and envy, but also a world of slaves, gladiators and all-powerful gods, of autocratic emperors and imperial conquest. How does this work in practice? Well, I'll focus on the structure of the joint honours degree. Classics, Ancient History and Archaeology is a little more complicated and will be introduced in a separate presentation. Like all our programmes, Trinity Joint Honours Latin begins with a foundational year, during which you will focus mainly on the language, whether at elementary or at advanced level, as well as being introduced to key texts, authors and genres of Roman literature. All our first-year students also take an introductory module in Greek and Roman history. In Year 2, you'll continue to consolidate and practice your translation skills, while also focusing more closely on one or two literary texts or authors. Alongside these modules, you'll be introduced to the study of Roman material culture and have a choice from a wide range of interdisciplinary, electives and open modules from across college. Each year too, many of our second and third year students take the option of studying abroad for a term or a year, either in Europe through the Erasmus programme or in the US, Canada, Australia or New Zealand. We in Classics have Erasmus partnerships with universities in Switzerland, France, Italy, Cyprus and Turkey. An even wider range of European options is available through the European Liberal Arts Network. And we encourage our students to apply for one of the many non-EU exchanges, which are organised on a competitive, college-wide basis. Depending upon the degree pathway you choose to follow in years 3 and 4, you will continue to deepen your study of Roman literature and culture through topic-based modules organised around kinds of literature, such as the poetry of the Augustan era or Latin satire. You'll also have an opportunity to develop your own project, either individually or in a team, on a text or author not covered in the taught modules. In the final year, we offer a wide choice of cultural or historical topics, alongside further literature modules. All final year students also write a capstone thesis. This can be on any aspect of the Roman world that interests you. The world really is your oyster. After graduation, you'll be ready to enter a wide variety of careers. Some of you may wish to proceed to a higher degree in classics or in a related academic subject. Many of you will move on to undertake a career outside academia and will find that your classics degree has equipped you with a sense of perspective and with an ability to think independently and creatively. Our alumni are now in journalism and media, in marketing and business, in the civil service. They work in libraries, art galleries or museums. They're lawyers, diplomats, and of course teachers and researchers. We are immensely proud of them. Classics at Trinity is from day one a vibrant community, and our alumni everywhere in the world treasure the sense of belonging and community they developed during their 4 years with us. We look forward to welcoming you too. Thank you for listening.
My name is Ahuvia Kahane. I'm Regius Professor of Greek and A.G. Leventis Professor of Greek Culture here in Trinity College, Dublin. I'm also a member of the Classics Department. And if you're watching this short presentation, you may already know something about the study of ancient Greek, or if you want to know more, you may have studied it at school or not at all, but you do want to know what exactly is it, why we should study it today, what will your course look like? You may have other questions. Will ancient Greek pay the bills one day? What's it like doing ancient Greek specifically at Trinity College, Dublin? So let's start. Greek and ancient Greece is how we refer to the language and the many different cultures that used this language and others and flourished in the Mediterranean for over 1,300 years, let's say the 9th century BCE to the 6th century AD, in places that include Greece itself, the islands, parts of the western coast of Turkey, Egypt, Italy, and more. Ancient Greek is the language of great poets, like Homer, who sang about the Trojan War, and Sappho, a powerful woman's voice, singing about love, desire, and politics. Greek is the language of Athenian tragedy, which flourished in the 5th century BC. You may have read or even seen the play Antigone. It's 2,500 years old and still going strong, as some of our students visiting Greece here, sitting in the theatre at Epidaurus on a study trip, can tell us. Antigone is a play about a sister and a daughter, so defined, absolutely determined to do the right thing. This play has defined our modern understanding of resolve. Greek is the language of the philosopher Plato and the great Diotima, the remarkable, though sometimes infuriating Socrates, so infuriating that the Athenians decided to put him to death. It's the language of ancient politicians and generals and orators, Pericles, Alcibiades, Demosthenes, figures who have defined so many of our modern debates. These are living discussions in the present. Democracy is a Greek word. Politics is a Greek word. Cosmology, ethics, history, poetry, physics, philosophy, economics, anthropology, the list goes on. We're all modern speakers of ancient Greek. Our values today have changed, and it's a good thing, too. But understanding antiquity is essential. We do have a history. I study Greek, then. Well, it's great stuff. But more importantly, it's good to think with. We have two eyes. We actually see the physical world from two different perspectives. But precisely this trick of the eyes, it's called parallax, a Greek word. This is what gives us a sense of depth. And it's exactly the same with culture and society. To understand who we are today, we need a second perspective and a sense of historical depth. Antigone, Socrates, Pericles, so many ancients are still alive today because they are part of the critical actions and debates of our modern life. So what will your degree program look like? You'll focus on Greek, the language, and the literatures. You may be a complete beginner, or you may have a leaving certificate in Greek or the equivalent. Either way, we have dedicated tracks for you. The first year is foundational, and as such, it also includes comprehensive introductions to ancient history. In your second year, you'll consolidate your Greek language skills, and you'll read, for example, the drama of Euripides, the history of Herodotus in the original language, and you will also learn to appreciate and make sense of visual and material cultures of ancient Greece. You'll explore the hidden lives of ancient objects. In your third year, you'll continue to refine your proficiency in reading Greek texts. You'll study the poetry of Homer, the philosophy of Plato. You'll explore topics of cultural history, and you'll develop your own project on a less conventional text. Maybe the wonderful world of Lucian, or the reception of antiquity, how Greek theatre is reinterpreted in modern practice. In your fourth year, you'll participate in seminars devoted to advanced Greek texts and topics. For example, maybe lyric poetry, how to be happy in the ancient world. Hellenistic poetry, you'll study the Greek novel, wisdom and tradition, and in translation, maybe public speaking or the world after Alexander the Great. Most importantly, you'll write a thesis, which is your capstone project. This is on a subject of your choice in the ancient world and or its reception today, with one-to-one supervision, working with lecturers in the department who will help you shape your project and will guide you. And of course, there's travel abroad. Travel broadens the mind, and in your second and third years, you'll have the opportunity to study worldwide. We have Erasmus exchange programs with Geneva, Bordeaux, Udine, Cyprus, Istanbul. We have LAN exchanges with 11 great cities in Europe. And beyond the EU, we have exchange programs in Canada, the US, Australia, and New Zealand. And the bills. Well, you can take a look at our track record. Classic students find employment working in museums, in the heritage industry, in archaeology and publishing, in teaching, both in schools and in university, and more broadly. Our teaching develops transferable skills. And this opens up enormous opportunities. There are good reasons why the professions, the law, media outlets, consultancy firms, banks, secondary schools, IT firms, commerce, industry, enterprise, they love classics graduates and students who've degrees in ancient Greek, students who have a wide perspective on life. Such students prove themselves to be quick, adaptive all-rounders. They can handle change, diverse challenges. They work well both independently and in teams. That, in fact, is what we teach. And last but not least, why Trinity College Dublin and TCD Classics? This answer has two equally important parts. First, whether you're thinking about our teaching, about internationally recognized world-leading research, about our facilities, or about your career opportunities, the Classics Department is one of the very finest in the world. Last year, we ranked 13th in the whole wide world. Secondly, equally important, Trinity is a Dublin institution. It's a relaxed home for students in the heart of a bustling, energetic city. It's a place to live, learn, and grow. Thank you very much for watching this presentation.